My name is Greicy Hoo. I'm a therapist, and this is my channel on self-improvement and spirituality in practice. Welcome. The real cause of stress. Well, unless you train every day as an athlete to run a marathon or do triathlon, biking, running, and swimming every day, physical activities that could stress your physical body. Unless you practice hard physical exercises every day, your stress is originated in a mental process. There's not much discipline and attention to that process, of course. And how
does it start?
well, you probably give too much importance to things that are not really so important, like worrying too much about things, bad things, getting unnecessarily irritated with small things, or worrying too much about the future, expecting, imagining, fantasizing bad things, negative things that are a threat only in your mind because they haven't happened yet. And this reflects a bad managing in your own head, or what I call lack of self mastery. Especially if all of those negative thoughts are not really yours. You absorb them from outside, from other people, from the media, social media, or the news. And there is an interesting process that can happen within us. We, in our unconscious, have forces and intelligences that create our reality. And for our unconscious, there's no difference between imagination and reality. It's all the same. And there's something that I always say importance is like yeast. The more you put in, the more the thing grows. So the more importance you give to bad things, negative thoughts, the more they will grow within you. And eventually your unconscious will understand that that's the kind of software it has to create or manifest in your life. And that explains why bad things happen to good people. Because maybe, or probably, they can be good people with a good heart. But what if they have a mind full of worries, always expecting bad things to happen? So they have to prevent themselves to try to avoid those bad things. But deep inside, they are not so positive because they are expecting the worst, right? So, what
Are they?
really creating? Because everything you not only believe in, but everything you think, and the more you think about something, the more importance you are giving to it, right? So, it is like a stamp in your unconscious that message recorded as important. So it is like recording or programming your unconscious to run that software with those instructions to make them real in your life. And that's why it's not a good idea to worry so much about things that haven't happened yet. You cannot control your future. Also, because if you depend on other people to have things happening in your life, they have free will. So they can change their minds, they can be negative, they can have their own challenges and lessons to learn. So if your life is somehow linked to someone else, what happens to you will have to do with what happens to them on some level. So if you are always expecting something bad to happen, that's why you worry so much, feeding your own anxiety, your intelligence in your unconscious will be constantly in a state of alert, always expecting something bad to happen. And what is the message that you are sending to your unconscious? Be ready, be prepared for anything at any time. Well, your body will automatically release adrenaline to be ready to react suddenly in an emergency situation. But the thing is, the danger, the bad scenario is happening only in your mind, in your imagination, not in your reality. So you don't really have to take action to defend or to protect yourself in reality, right? But that adrenaline is constantly being produced in your body and it accumulates. If nothing happens, it's like you unconsciously intoxicating your own body. And of course, being in a constant state of alert causes not only emotional, psychological, mental tension, but physical tension. And that excess of adrenaline will eventually become like a poison in your body when accumulated, creating physical pain, like back pain, for example, is the most common. And also, if the cause of the pain is not physical, because you didn't hurt yourself doing too much exercise, for example, then the cause is probably energetic. And in this case, the pain won't go away with medication, massage, acupuncture, or whatever you try to do to get rid of the pain. How can you deal with that? Well, there is an exercise that I do with my clients, even with myself, that is ask your body where that came from. It can be yours, it can be a negative energy that you got from someone or somewhere. You can try to close your eyes, not to have visual distraction. Take a deep breath, or two or three, and pay attention to your body and ask your body, where is this pain coming from? Or who
am I
connected to? Or is there anyone's energy with me? And pay attention to your body. Because you are with your eyes closed, you will probably see an image in your mind. If you have a good relationship with your physical body, because your unconscious runs your physical body, and if you have a good relationship with those intelligence in your unconscious, then it will respond immediately, sending a message to your mind of a person or of a place you went to. And then you can ask your body, that intelligence in your body, to send away that energy, that negative energy, back to that person because it belongs to them, right? So don't worry if,
Oh, I don't want to hurt anyone.
well, if that energy belongs to someone else. So you are just sending it back to them. Okay, they are responsible for themselves, not you. So if they produced that negative energy, it's their problem, not yours, right? So ask your body to send that energy back to that person. Actually, everything negative in your body, it's probably that the energy came from another person, not necessarily from a specific place you went to. And pay attention to your body,
the images?
in your mind, what is being released. And then after you feel that process is finished, it's important to ask your body, that intelligence in your body that I call power animal. It's important to ask that intelligence to bring back to you what belongs to you and was with that person. Because in that exchange, you got something negative from that person and you left something good with them, or they took something good from you if they are an energy vampire, and you didn't realize you were being vampirized by someone. So ask that intelligence in your body, in your unconscious, to bring back what belongs to you that was with that person. And again, pay attention to what happens in your body, the sensations you feel. If there is any image of something being brought back, returning to you, and then pay attention if there is any specific sensation in your body in any specific area. How does it feel? It's interesting that we can give so many good things to other people, or they can take them from us, like confidence, joy, courage, sense of value, self esteem. Try to do that exercise and you will be surprised. But if you don't see or feel anything, well, maybe or probably you are too mental, too rational without a good contact with your own physical body in terms of that intelligence in your unconscious. So in this case, you can contact me for a private session. And I assure you, with my help, my magnetism, which is very strong when I'm working with a client, I assure you will see and feel something and will be surprised and feel much better at the end. When I say an intelligence in your body, in your unconscious, I mean that one that is running your body. For example, when you go to sleep, you don't have to worry if you are breathing correctly, if your body is digesting what you ate at dinner, right? If you hurt yourself, you don't have to worry about healing your body. You don't have to give any order to your body. Heal this wound, for example. The process is automatic because it's like a software in your unconscious program to do those things, right? And another thing, you cannot control what you are going to dream of tonight when you go to bed. But there is something within you, within all of us, that somehow manages all the content that comes up from our unconscious when we are dreaming, right? It's the same when it comes to create reality. You cannot control everything. But even so, you somehow attract people and situations to your life. Not actually you, your rational mind, but that intelligence in your unconscious. It not only attracts, but also repels people and situations. Basically, what has to do with you at the moment or not, or what you need to learn in this life, or what you are vibrating. Actually, how our reality is created involves many factors, is a complex process. It's not the subject for this video. Maybe in another one I can talk about this. Actually, I have an episode in my podcast talking about how our reality is created, and I list many factors, many things that can interfere in that process. And karma is not only one of them. Actually, the concept of karma is not based on vindictive, universal intelligence, like you did a bad thing here, then you have to pay later. This is an interpretation from men or religions trying to control people. The origin of the word karma is just action. But of course, every action creates a reaction, right? It's not that you are paying in this life something that you did in a past life and that you have no memory of. It would be unfair if you don't remember what you did. The thing is, if you keep vibrating in the same frequency, you will attract the same reaction for that action, which is the vibration. That's obvious, right? So it's about cause and
effect,
if you keep creating the same cause, you don't stop it, you will keep having the same.
effect,
And as I always say, if you want to change the effect, you need to work on the cause. But I was talking about giving too much importance to things that are not so important, that they are terrible only in your mind because you don't have a good management in your head and don't put limits in your own imagination, expecting the worst or bad negative things to happen to you. So it would be interesting to pay attention. Where are those negative thoughts, pessimistic thoughts coming from? Maybe you gave too much importance in terms of being impressed by what someone else said. Maybe they had a bad experience and you heard them telling that experience with too much drama. Then you got impressed thinking that maybe that could happen to you too. So you have to be careful and take precaution. But the other person's experience depends on how they are vibrating, what they are attracting, what are their main challenges or lessons to learn in this life. You not necessarily will have the same challenges and lessons, so you shouldn't worry that much. Right? Actually, if you want to know the main challenges and the main lessons you are here to learn, a good idea is to have a birth chart reading with an astrologer with that approach, of course, not so superficial. An astrologer, like me. Actually, I'm more like a therapist than an astrologer. Today, I use the birth chart as a powerful diagnostic
tool.
But anyway, so it's important to just stop and pay attention. Where did those pessimistic thoughts come from? Is it something that you saw in the news? Then you were worried about
The economy,
inflation or the actual climate situation, a war going on somewhere.
on the planet,
Self mastery and the good
head management, have
to do with putting some filters in your ears and in your eyes, meaning filtering what you hear or what you see in the world from other people, because you can choose what to give importance to or not. And that's your responsibility. If you hear someone telling a sad story with a lot of drama, it's up to you to give importance and to be impressed by their drama or not. It's like watching a horror movie before going to bed, before going to sleep. You can think,
Oh, that is just fake. It's not real blood. It's kind of ketchup. Whatever, it's fake blood. Everything's fake it to make people scared. Of course.
but if you don't have that filtered attitude, you can be so impressed by a horror movie that you can have nightmares later on, right? Actually, I don't think it's a good idea to watch horror movies. I don't do that. And not because I don't like to feel fear, to be scared. I don't actually. But the thing is, you tune yourself into that kind of astral, negative, terrifying. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but this physical reality we live in is not the only one. There are other
dimensions,
and with other realities in the astral plane. And if you are tuning into a negative one, you won't have good consequences. Let's put it this way. I don't want to scare anyone here, but as someone who have been studying spirituality for basically my entire life, I know about other realities because I grew up in Brazil, so I had access and still have access to so many interesting books written by disincarnated spirits, revealing many truths about life on the other side. What happens after we leave our physical body? And there are places there that can be really scary. But anyway, the thing is, I think especially after 2020 and 2021, and everybody knows what happened in the planet during those 2 years, it seems that so many people got stressed because of constant fear of death and bad things happening, not only to them, but to people they know, family members, friends. And that's one of the reasons that the mental health issues got so constant and intense in society. My point is, it seems that people are getting more aggressive because of those constant worries they have about the future, not only the present, but about the future, expecting the worst, negative things to happen. And it doesn't matter if someone expresses their aggressiveness in a subtle or more intense way, like being passive aggressive or openly aggressive. And here I have to explain something. Aggressiveness itself is a neutral thing. It's a neutral energy. The result, bad or positive, will depend on how that aggressiveness is worked or manifested. Because in astrology, the planet Mars is more related to aggressiveness, but there are many ways it can be manifested in someone's life. A negative way, very obvious, would be physical violence or emotional violence, aggressive words, accidents. And the positive way to have that energy manifested can be courage, can be strength, can be perseverance in achieving a goal. So it will basically depend on the person's use of that energy, but the energy itself is neutral. Like a knife, you can use it to cut food and prepare a meal, or you can
Use it to hurt someone.
right? And being in a constant state of anger or not well worked aggressiveness can lead someone to emotional stress that will reflect on their physical body with tension and the muscles becoming hard and painful. And what could be the real origin of that anger? Well, frustration. Frustration, when accumulated after a while, will become anger. And of course, it's not socially okay to express anger openly. Although many people eventually have tantrums or an anger burst with strangers. And in those cases, I would say that the level of anger is so high. They have been accumulating so much frustration for so long that they cannot control that anger, that negative aggressiveness.
From going out.
And that is sad because it means that the person is suffering inside to the point that they cannot
Deal.
with that negative energy inside them. They just kind of much more than
Having.
an anger burst towards someone, I would see it as the cry for help. They are probably extremely frustrated with their own life and they just don't know how to deal with themselves. and with others and with life, which is the main purpose of my work, the three pillars, how to better deal with yourself, others, and life. Because we were not born with
An
instruction manual to know that, right? But I believe that everybody does the best they know so far. If they know how to do better, they would be already doing it. So the real cause of stress is a poorly managed lack of inner discipline. You can have a lot of discipline to wake up early and go to the gym to work out like at 4 or 5 in the morning. That's a lot of discipline. But when it comes to mental discipline, it's another thing. It's maybe something that people don't pay much attention to. And then you can ask me,
Gracie, that's meditation. How?
well, it can help, but for the Western mind, it's harder to meditate because we are so used to not have mental discipline. And we have so many, not only distractions, but stimuli coming from
the world.
the form of information. But you gotta start somehow eventually. It's not dominate your mind, but really manage your mind, your thoughts, what goes on in your head, because you are the only person that can do that job. I cannot do that for you, right? And the thoughts you feed in your mind, especially those you give a lot of importance to for a long time with intensity, they will create your reality because they will program the software that is running in your unconscious 24/7. That's why it's so important to really pay attention
Two.
what kind of thoughts and not only beliefs, but actually thoughts you are feeding in your mind. Meditation is a way to slow down your mind, especially if it is too chaotic, and also to decrease the drama. Drama is a very intense way to give importance to something negative that already happened or that you think will happen. Actually, when a client in a session with me starts to complain about something or
Tell
something that happened to them, I always put like a filter in my ears
to decrease.
the drama and focus on the facts because people many times just need to vent, but it's very common for them to exaggerate, putting drama in their story. It's up to me to not be so impressed by the drama, the emotional element in the story, because people like to grab attention
To their lives.
to maybe have other people's pity, having other people feeling sorry for them, playing the unconscious victim or the poor one. But I don't buy it. So if you are feeling stressed in your life, maybe too stressed, my contribution here in my channel is to present you an alternative, an option, a different point of view. You can try relaxation, meditation, yoga, massage, listen to very calm music, or whatever. It can be a way to stop that excess of mental activity. It's good. But unless you go to the root of your stress, the results will be temporary. As I said, if you want to change the effects, you need to work on the cause. And if the cause is a mental process based on fear, expecting bad things to happen, expecting the worst, being afraid of
Things.
then if you don't stop that process, by first paying attention to that,
You will always be.
producing that same stress because you didn't change the cause. And each case is different. I don't know you. I have no idea what's going on in your life, but this is to go deeper in analyzing and diagnosing on a deeper level what is causing that kind of problematic attitude. Actually, I have to say, it can be an invisible, an astral influence. You have been suffering. Because, people die and not necessarily they become saints. Actually, the vast majority remain very unconscious that they don't have a physical body anymore, and many stay wandering around. Those are what we call ghosts. They are just disincarnated spirits, ignorant of other realities of the, let's say, they're not mature in their consciousness to accept a spiritual reality. And I'm not talking about religion. Spirituality has nothing to do with religion. Spirituality has to do with you being in contact with your spirit, your soul, or your higher self, and living according to what your soul wants for you and not what your head desires. That's a big difference. So you can have been influenced by someone disincarnated, that person. But one thing very important to consider, there's no victim. Whatever you attract to your life, a situation or people, depends on your own energy, what you are vibrating, your frequency, based on your thoughts and emotions and inner attitudes. But that's a very complex and maybe scary subject for those who are not aware of other realities, the invisible reality, other
Dimension.
a subtle
Dimension.
of life. So in this video, I just wanted to suggest you to consider a different point of view, a possibility of the real cause of stress. A mental process based on too much worries, based on fears, negative expectations from the future, creating anxiety and causing not only mental stress, but an emotional stress and, in consequence, a physical stress. Again, it's important to stop and pay attention to what goes on in your mind. What kind of thoughts you are giving too much importance to, and with what intensity. Because importance is like
Yeast.
the more you put in, the more the thing grows. So, what are you putting your importance to, and in what intensity? It's not about being,
Optimistic.
because if positive thinking were enough, the world would have
Many.
more millionaires, right? So it's not about optimism, positivism. It's about not giving importance to what makes you suffer somehow, mental suffering or emotional suffering. You are responsible for yourself. You are the only person that will be with you for the rest of it, not only this life, but for eternity. So the sooner you start to take better care of yourself, the sooner you will have a better life, inner life, and better results in your life. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and bye.